So their dream is to see this pyramid and see it, But we have the destination like Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada, People, they go there because they love diving. If the first time in Egypt, I would say they will come, to see the pyramids.
Yeah.
And even if they go to Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada, they still come for a day or two to visit the pyramids and the King Tut, in the Egyptian Museum, and they go back to Hurghada. So it's 2 days.
Yeah.
They see every time they go back. But the pyramids, once you say Egypt, you mean pyramids. Everybody, Egypt is known for its pyramid. One of the 7 wonders of the world. We cannot deny it. We cannot either deny it.
Yeah. Even though it lost out in a recent online vote.
No, it didn't lose. Actually, it didn't lose.
Yeah.
The pyramids, it was out of the competition. Not in the competition and then come out. No, Egypt was excluded.
Indeed,
because it was very well respected by the others. So they have Egypt, don't touch Egypt, don't touch the pyramid, and then they got the other one.
Okay.
Right.
Well, there's another thing I'd also like to talk about, and of course a lot of expatriates who may be tuned in tonight will be interested in hearing about that. Now there are plans to make the North Coast an all-season destination.
Yes, right.
What is your take on that? Do you think that that is the right way to expand? Do you think that the North Coast can really be an ideal destination to be an all-season destination?
Not the ideal,
But it makes sense.
Right, it does. I'm saying it will be new destination to attract more travelers to Egypt, or the people they come to Egypt for to go to North. It's really gorgeous.
And it,
it's
of course,
beautiful.
has its own history with the
Right.
Al-Amin and the museum
Right.
and the cemetery.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was near Alexandria. They can go to Alexandria, visit Alexandria, and they go back. I was saying it's really a new destination, and it's already have its own attraction. Look at the Scandinavian countries. Most of the travelers to the place are Scandinavian. They come, because it's very cold there during the winter. So it's,
This is warm weather.
Right.
Okay.
Then it's beautiful weather.
Yeah.
For us maybe it's cold at the time, but
It definitely is cold. Yeah.
But Egypt really has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Put it this way. People they want to go to the North Coast, fine, of Alexandria, fine. People they go to Sharm el-Sheikh, people they go to Safari, people they come for the culture, they come to the pyramids, the Luxor, Aswan. So we have a lot to offer, but with some attention, believe me, this is the best business in Egypt not for us only, but for our common generation.
Okay.
That's the future of Egypt.
Perhaps on that note as well, we've seen in the last few years an incredible expansion in the number of resorts and facilities and even destinations. People are coming up with new creative ideas, new destinations.
Correct.
Siwa has been made into a regular destination as of late and marketed as such. Do you think that now with the global economic slowdown, this vicious expansion of these different tourism ideas will slow down a bit as natural results?
I think any smart businessman, the best time to invest
is now.
It's now.
Okay.
It's now. Invest your money now, because they have a saying, you probably heard it, that the tourism may get sick, but it will never die.
Okay.
That's for sure, and that's a fact of life. And the future of Egypt, whether we like it or not, is tourism. Whether we want it or not, is tourism. Nothing is going to feed these people, except
like tourism.
Exactly. The source can be one day they can be dry, or they can come up with another way to send their products here or there.
Yeah.
But the tourist business, the history, because that's not the history of Egypt. That's the history of a human being.
Yeah.
Am I right, Ron?
Yeah.
The pyramids, the King Tut, this is all the human civilization. So people are interested to come and see it, see their roots.
Yeah.
So we never stop.
Yeah.
Tourism business, maybe a year or two, it will be affected by price happening here and there, but it will always grow. and always a chance for people to work.
Yeah.
So I think we really should pay attention
Yeah.
to the future. It's the future of our generation.
Since you do say that it is vital, a
Yes.
vital component, not only Egyptian economy, but obviously of Egyptian culture, Egyptian business, and all that,
Yes.
and so forth. Do you think that the average Egyptian values tourism enough? Because it seems to me when I walk in the road and I talk to the average Egyptian, that tourism is important in generating national revenues, but it's not seen as something that's can really make a difference.
Yes. I totally agree. You know why? Because we don't have, and I must say this is the responsibility and the job of the government. We don't have enough awareness for the people. Average Egyptian doesn't know what's, that's tourism or this foreigner. They don't know that this foreigner here, by having him, he's feeding me, he's feeding you, he's feeding everybody. But buying this product, he's encouraging industry, for example here, the food product, the hotels, the rooms, so it's a lack of awareness that the Egyptian have. But if the Egyptian, that's why I'm saying we should pay attention to it. If the average Egyptian knows that this is his future, I think he will care for it more than he does right now.
I mean, they recently tried to do a campaign with billboards and things on saying that tourism helps you keep your job and keeps your family and all that, so forth. That was recently.
Right.
Now, my question is, do you think that Egyptians are welcoming enough? I mean, I recently traveled to Oman, and they sell themselves as a country that has hospitality.
Right.
And they lived up to it quite well.
Right.
Do you think that in Egypt it's the same thing? I mean, you already said the Egyptian soul is there, and it comes across to tourists.
Absolutely.
But can more be done? In terms of how
Egyptian by nature are very welcome.
Yes.
I mean, that's any Egyptian, any Egyptian you meet in the streets, no matter what he does, or it doesn't matter his job, what he is, but he really nice people. That's Egyptian. Now, if we take that Egyptian person and we tell him, explain to him, like I said, awareness, of what tourism means, what this foreigner means, what this man means, then we're gonna form understanding all over the country, all over with all the Egyptians, and there will be, I mean, because by nature they are generous, and I'm telling you again that the people always say that, I mean, the travelers, they always say that the Egyptian people, that's what we take in our heart when we leave Egypt. So that can tell you a lot.
Of course.
They are not drawing a picture, they are not drawing a smile on their face so you can like them or not like them. It's by nature hospitable people, they like, invite you to eat something, to drink something.
Absolutely.
So we say continue.
Definitely part of the experience.
Exactly. And that's what makes the difference, You can say, I went to Eiffel Tower, I went to Statue of Liberty, whatever. But if you don't like the American people, you're not going to like the United States, for example. So here in Egypt, people I know, they know the history and they visit the site, but the people, the Egyptian people, are the main factor why people love Egypt. Because of the people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just on a final note, since you were talking about how the government should assume the responsibility for spreading awareness, in recent thinking, most of tasks like these seem to be the responsibility of civil society as a whole. So it means the government should have a hand, and then you have NGOs, and you have the private sector as well. Would you agree with such a combined effort to raise awareness? Maybe also the private sector has not lived up to the responsibility of or would you disagree on that?
No, I agree totally. That I believe the private sectors and NGOs and the government should be combined forces, should get together to do something.
Yes.
And I will say, you can't clap with one hand.
Yeah.
You need the two, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's very, very good idea. And for just short note, let me take you with something. The cleaning of the streets. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I feel ashamed when people, walk on the street or drive and they see the trash, piles of trash here.
Yes.
I think we don't need the government for that. We people can do that.
Of course.
But we need somebody to tell us we'll do it that way, that way. So I think the NGOs have a big responsibility along with the government, supporting that, along with the private sector, definitely. And believe me, if the people are gonna find somebody encouraging them to do that or support them, they're gonna be there. I mean, all the Egyptians. I mean, that's something I must say.
Yeah.
Egyptians are willing if you give them the opportunity, if
Okay.
you teach them how.
Yes. Well, of course, we hope for the very best, and of course that continued progress will be made, and that we overcome the global financial crisis, not just in Egypt, to a lesser extent and to a greater extent abroad, and so we can focus back on growing more and getting more people
Absolutely.
to see Egypt as well. I'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Mohamed Nazmy, for joining me from the Chamber of Tourism. It's been a pleasure. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of this edition of the News Hour. I hope you enjoyed our discourse on tourism in Egypt, which of course started on a more somber note with the attack that happened about 2 days ago. But we also looked at the prospects of the tourism industry this year and for the future. And in any case, do drop me an email if you have any questions or suggestions at newshour@yusufganenadine.com. That's all from me. Much more coming up here on Nile TV International throughout the day. And thank you for watching.